After Eureka drifted off back to sleep, I started searching for Alistair on my own. Alistair! Gretel! God damn it, where the hell is he? Using Woolfe's intel, I traveled into the forest said to be the delinquents' hangout. The sun had set, and the whole area was dark and quiet. Flashlight in hand, I combed the forest until eventually I heard voices.
Well, I'm not fine! The thought of my sister's abusers living happily ever after makes me want to puke!
I'm begging you, please, just stop. I just want to go home with you. And if you cross that line,
Sister.
Two voices I recognized all too well. I felt my blood run cold. Illuminated by my flashlight, I could see bodies on the ground. And at the center stood Gretel, along with Eureka, who was supposed to be at the hospital. Gretel!
Just comes in swinging. Punch. Gugh! Yep.
I seized him by the collar and punched him in the face.
Man, that would have to hurt.
The hell do you think you're doing? He spat a glob of bloody saliva to the ground and glared venomously at me.
Ryoushi!
And what the hell are you doing here? I told you to get some rest, damn you! As I roared at her, I saw her flinch behind Gretel. The stench of blood, ammonia, and alcohol hit my nose, and when I looked down, I saw several young guys lying on their backs, groaning in pain. Anger and misery hit me like a freight train. Why hadn't I done more to prevent this?
If you're going to yell at someone, yell at me. She braved these woods in order to find me.
Gretel,
Damn it, Gretel! Do you realize what you were about to do? You were about to commit murder!
Yes, I know. What of it?
I beg your pardon? I stared at him in disbelief. He smiled back at me coldly. Screw it. The lecture will have to wait. I decided my top priority was getting medical care to the injured. Hey! You kids okay? Stay with me! I aimed my flashlight at a guy with his hands tied. Help me! I'm gonna call an ambulance for you. Seems like you're all still breathing. As I untied them, I dialed 911.
What are you doing? You don't have to trouble yourself with these worms. Just let nature sort itself out.
I rolled the next guy over and locked eyes with Gretel, who was grimacing bitterly. Not on your life! Yes, hello. I need an ambulance right away. Right, our current location.
They tried to rape your little sister!
That doesn't mean they deserve to die. Maybe you don't care if they die, but these kids have families.
Family.
At this, he looked deeply wounded.
So I'm worth even less than these maggots, is that it?
Gretel!
I mean, that's what it sounds like. After all, I don't have a family. I didn't need to be clued in either. I always knew we weren't related. Unlike you people, I'm not smart or talented. I'm just a worthless piece of trash. That's why I put so much effort into everything I did. Schoolwork, sports. I did everything I could to win approval from people as naturally perfect as you.
Gretel. In that moment, I unwittingly felt sympathy for him. I knew what it was like to be the mediocre one in a family of talented people, and to feel worthless by comparison. I went through the same thing myself. But there was a critical difference between me and Gretel. Blood ties.
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
He thrashed his head back and forth.
I knew. I could just tell. Unlike you people, I wasn't skilled or gifted. Be it schoolwork or sports, I quietly put my nose to the grindstone until I got to where I am today. I just wanted to catch up to my sister, to stay connected with her. And so I crafted the perfect little brother. So why? Why are you people trying to destroy that?
His screams were full of pain.
Sister. Sister. Sister.
He tottered on shaky legs over to Eureka. Reflexively, I moved to protect her. But I quickly realized there was no point in doing that.
You're the one person I can't afford to lose. Please, don't abandon me.
Gretel slumped weakly to his knees. Eureka stared down at him for a long moment. Then she knelt down, cupped his cheek, and planted a kiss on the other.
Sister?
Her expression was truly that of a benevolent goddess. And in the next moment, she grabbed him by the hand and started running. Hey! Eureka! Gretel! I started to give chase, but then I heard ambulance sirens in the distance and came to a stop. I couldn't just abandon these critically injured patients. It hurts. I thought about Eureka, the condition I found her in. According to Red Riding Hood and Gretel, these guys had attacked her. The thought made me a bit more sympathetic to Gretel's point of view. Anyone would react with rage if they learned that their loved one had been hurt. I realized I was clenching my fists and quickly took a deep breath. I didn't have time to contemplate potential justifications for violence. You okay? Any nausea? Does this hurt?
Yes, it hurts!
For now, I decided to administer as much treatment as I could. Yes, I was Eureka's brother, but first and foremost I was a doctor. Later, I found Eureka and Gretel curled up on the ground not too far away. Gretel had already switched back to Alistair. Naturally, he was confused and terrified. Thus, I decided he needed a few days in the hospital just in case. After everything was resolved, I got in touch with my father.
I'll take full responsibility for everything that happened. Granted, the victims were hardly innocent in this case. I doubt they'll complain.
Thank you so much.
Sorry we can't be around more. I know it must be hard to handle it all on your own.
It's fine. If anything, I'm sorry I let this happen on my watch.
We're family, aren't we? There's no need to stand on ceremony.
Right.
More importantly, how are they doing?
Eureka's stable, but with her injuries, I recommend she rest at home until she heals.
I see.
As for Alistair, he has been deeply traumatized by this incident. He woke up covered in blood, with Eureka visibly injured beside him. He's afraid that he was the one who hurt her.
Ah. Yes, I can easily see why he might lose trust in himself.
Yeah,
This incident was perpetrated by one of his personalities, correct? Is there anything that can be done?
Gretel himself was deeply wounded by what happened. I imagine he won't show himself for a good long time.
Then I suppose we're safe for a while.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean?
Yes, Gretel has his problems. He's prone to drug abuse and violence, and he treats his doctor with hostility. But all of his problems were caused by Eureka. In this particular case, he wasn't out there assaulting people for fun. He was trying to protect his sister. So if Eureka were to be endangered again, he might take even more drastic action when he next appears.
In that case, shouldn't we separate them? If they won't listen to you, then maybe I'll lay down the law.
Please don't. It may seem as though Alistair has developed a dependency on Eureka, but in fact, it's the reverse. This is just my own personal analysis as a psychiatrist, but I think it's due to a lack of parental affection in early childhood.
Not speaking from personal experience at all.
She finds self-worth through feeling needed by others. At least, that's how I see it. If we separate the two of them, it'll be Eureka who goes on a rampage next. Silence fell between us. My heart raced uncontrollably. This was the first time I'd ever opposed a parent.
I see. I think you're right. I imagine Eureka cares more about that boy than any of her blood relatives. But we can't go back and change the way we raised her. It's too late for that. It'll be all right. I believe in our family. And I trust in your insight, as a doctor and her brother.
Oh, I wish Dad had, come to his senses, 20 years ago. Although I don't know. I don't think Mom ever changed. It might not have been enough. At least we're all on the same page that our sister's crazy.
Once I finished reporting to our parents, I went to my sister's room. I'm coming in, Eureka. She was sitting on her bed with her knees drawn up under her chin. I sat down beside her and reached out to her cheek. How are your injuries? Let me see.
Okay.
I peeled the bandage back and saw a purple bruise on her pale skin. The swelling's gone down a lot. Good. Looks like it won't leave a scar. Any other pain or tenderness?
Nope.
Good. Glad to hear it.
What's going to happen to Gretel?
We haven't discussed that yet. But if I had to guess, he probably won't show himself for a while.
Because I hurt him. In the end, I hurt both Alistair and Gretel. What was I supposed to do?
She buried her face in her bent knees.
How will you ease her pain? By putting her out of her misery. I mean... Stroking her hair is Kaguya's job. I'll hold her and this won't be awkward at all. There we go. Just a nice brotherly hug. Don't worry, I'll coddle you like you coddle that boy, and it won't backfire terribly, I'm sure. You love to see it. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm sincere, can't you tell by the tone in my voice? Anyway.
The next thing I knew, I had pulled her into my arms.
Ryoushi?
Don't say a word. I know it's weird, but I can't think of anything else. If you don't like it, just push me off.
I don't mind.
Then shut up and let me hold you.
Okay.
Aw, so wholesome.
Oh, that's right. After a moment, I pulled away and reached into my pocket.
What is it?
Here, eat this. I unwrapped a piece of candy and popped it into her mouth.
Is this candy?
What else would it be, genius?
You never change.
Neither do you.
You think so? I feel like I've changed a lot, actually.
You've always been a huge crybaby on the inside. You just hate to let it show. You know you don't have to act tough in front of me of all people, right? If you want to cry, then let it out.
Okay.
And so she cried, right there in my arms.
Damn. On demand, on command. Just like, boop.
As strong as she looked, she was still practically a child. Sometimes she needed support. And I suspected there were only a handful of people she could turn to.
I mean, that is certainly true.
Alistair had stopped receiving treatment for a while, but now he was making regular hospital visits again. You seem like you've mostly recovered.
Yeah. Sorry for making you worry.
Worrying is a normal part of life. If anything, I'm glad to see you back at the clinic.
Right.
He smiled softly. His emotions were well under control now.
Sure. Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
So, anything worrying you? Or making you feel anxious right now?
Actually, about that conversation we had a while ago.
He faltered hesitantly. I dug back through my memories to our last appointment together. About unifying the personalities.
Yeah.
Have you come to a decision?
No, I'm still thinking about it.
Gotcha. Well, you've been through a lot the past few days. Like I said, there's no need to rush. Take your time, think it over, and we'll go with whatever you decide.
Right. Actually, I have a question.
He looked firmly into my eyes.
Uh-oh, there it is.
Is there any way for us to have a dialogue?
You and your personalities.
Yeah. They all talk to each other just fine, so I don't understand why I'm left out of it. My last doctor said they all have their own spaces, and they meet up in the darkness to talk. But no amount of hypnosis has ever gotten me there.
At this, I fell into contemplation. Granted, there are cases of DID where the main personality can speak to the others. Frankly, I'm not sure why it is you can't contact yours.
I see.
Why do you ask? In response, he held my gaze with a straight face.
I don't know a thing about any of them, and I think that's because I haven't talked to them. These people in my head, they're always taking on the things I can't or don't want to do. So how can I turn around and tell them I want them gone?
Yes, I imagine they'll protest at first. He clenched his fist in his lap. I thought maybe he was trembling, but he wasn't.
If only I could speak to them, couldn't I find out what they want?
It's technically my job to figure that out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to suggest I don't trust you or anything.
I know. I smiled, and he smiled back.
Could I keep thinking about it for a little longer?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Any other questions? At this, he fell silent, mulling it over.
The darkness is my subconscious, right?
It would be, yeah. Hypnosis places the subject in a state halfway between consciousness and subconsciousness. Semi-consciousness, in other words.
As I recall, it's sort of like dozing off, right?
Yes, exactly. How did you know?
Oh, I just read it in a book.
Just then, something felt slightly off to me. Thus far, Alistair had never really asserted himself, but right now, he seemed to have a clear objective. Why do you ask?
Oh, no real reason. I just always wondered, I guess. Sorry, I think that's everything.
Gotcha. Then that concludes our appointment for today.
Great. Thank you so much.
Next appointment will be next week.
Cool. See you next week.
And so he left the exam room with a smile.
Then he's like, how many drugs does one need to take to knock oneself out?
The next day, I was eating lunch in the medical office and reading a book about the subconscious mind. Something about Alistair's behavior yesterday was gnawing at me.
Great work today, Doctor.
Likewise.
Aha! Another packed lunch courtesy of your little sister.
Yeah,
She must really love you.
I contemplated whether to downplay it. Yeah, maybe she does. Instead, I smiled.
Oh no, she's got Ryoushi. Rip to our boy.
Oh, there he is! Dr. Ryoushi!
What is it? Whatever it was, I could tell it was urgent, and I quickly switched gears.
Ambulance just brought in an overdose. Male, late teens. They think it might be Alistair.
I'll be right there! Sure enough, the patient in the ICU was Alistair. Someone had spotted him collapse on the lakeshore and called 911. After we pumped his stomach and moved him to a private hospital bed, I called my parents, then Eureka. I knew she wouldn't answer. After a few rings, the automated message began to play.
We're sorry. The number you have dialed cannot be reached at this time.
Leave your name and message after the tone.
Eureka, it's me. Stay calm and listen to me. Alistair overdosed on sleeping pills, and he's in the hospital. He's safe. He's not going to die. I gotta go back to work, so when you get here, just ask the nurse at the front desk where to go. After I hung up, I got moving. Sorry to bother you, but if my sister shows up, could you send her to room 301? And give me a heads up if possible.
Your sister? Right, will do.
Thanks in advance. A short while later, Eureka arrived with Woolfe in tow. When they saw Alistair lying there with an IV drip in his arm, they both froze. He OD'd. Overdosed, I mean. I'm told he downed a whole bottle of sleeping pills.
Why would he do that?
He was trying to kill himself. Someone spotted him unconscious on the lakeshore while they were passing by. They already pumped his stomach, so he's not in danger. Right now he's sleeping, but he'll probably wake up tomorrow.
Thank God.
Whoa! Careful, Alistair!
Wolf hastily caught her before she fell.
I didn't see the warning signs. He seemed so normal.
Come on, it's not your fault. I didn't notice anything either.
But I've spent every day with him. I was always there. How could I be so blind?
Her feeble whisper echoed through the hospital room. After all my work was taken care of, I headed to the lobby to pay a visit to the vending machine. Want a drink? Wolf looked at me with a tired smile.
Sure, thanks.
Is Eureka inside?
Yeah. She hasn't left Blondie's side.
Gotcha. Sorry to keep you here so long. I'm guessing you had to miss class for this.
It's no big deal, honestly. No way I could focus in class knowing my friend was having a crisis. Besides, believe it or not, I'm actually pretty smart.
I know you are. Eureka and Alistair have told me. His smile vanished.
I never imagined Blondie would try to take his own life. I knew he was working through some stuff, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Suicide can be hard to predict. For mental health patients, it's often spontaneous.
But Blondie was trying to improve his condition. He said he wanted to let go and move forward so Alistair wouldn't be sad.
As I listened, I thought back to the last time I saw Alistair. He certainly seemed to carry himself with more conviction than usual. Perhaps there was something more to it.
Like what?
Not sure, I answered vaguely. After a drug overdose, anyone would think Alistair must have given up on life. But it just didn't fit. Anyway, we'll find out once he wakes up tomorrow. I'll ask him about it in detail.
Right. Real talk, man? I might just punch his lights out.
Don't. But I understand the feeling. Visiting hours are almost over, so I'm gonna take Eureka home. If you'd like, I can give you a ride too.
Nah, that's okay.
He rose to his feet. All right then. Take care on your way home.
Will do.
Once he was gone, I let out a heavy sigh. Now for the other one.
The bigger handful of the two.
Hey, Eureka. Visiting hours are almost over. Let's go home. She was sitting at Alistair's bedside, staring at him without moving a muscle. Wolf's already left, and I finished my work so I can drive you. Mom and Dad are supposed to arrive sometime later tonight.
I want to stay with Alistair until he wakes up.
I'm sure you do, but you have school tomorrow.
I won't go.
Your grades are already low enough as it is. You'll fail your classes.
I don't care.
As she spoke, she never once looked away from Alistair. Fine, but just for tonight.
Okay.
For Eureka's sake, I prayed that he would wake up soon.